All right. So this is the end of week 4. We're halfway done with our project. What is happening? I feel like we just got started. And it's, I don't know if you remember back to your, like when you did your project before, but the last 4 weeks always tends to go really fast. Like it's like boom, 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 and it's done. And like, what, So, so I think it'll be important today to just kind of understand, like kind of to take a moment to assess sort of where we're at and like make sure we have a good plan for, the next 4 weeks. So we're kind of halfway through. So, I'll have to pull up the control chart. I haven't done that yet, but we're going to do a retro. So we should look at a control chart, see what our sort of throughput is, our cycle times and stuff, and see if that matches up to what's left on the board in terms of are we going to make it through at the current pace, or is there something we need to do to adjust, right? So, the mural, yep, cool, thank you for that. And I guess we can do demos if there's stuff to demo. Even if it's kind of in progress, it'd be good to know sort of where we're at, like how done are we? So, which pair wants to go first? I guess Shane is a pair.
Yeah, I'm representative of a pair. I can go first, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, let me get set up.
Who's paired? I thought
we're paired.
Yeah, me and Rachel.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, I don't know, from week to week.
Yeah, it's a lot. We could just all do it. It's one project.
Yeah. That was last week that Shane and Rachel were together, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you doing, Zoom? All right.
Screen sharing, which it's terrible at.
Yeah, right. I know. The one thing that it's supposed to do well, yeah. Okay, so this is what we had to do. EJ helped me out a bit because I was reading and I was like halfway through the concept. I think me and Rachel both, and it came through at the end. So our was allow the user to drag a map to a new location and update pins based on that new location. And I think once the visual makes it a lot, it makes it simpler because it did feel a bit complex initially. But yes, allow the user to drag the map to a new location, update location's context to then update API based on new center and locations, update pins based on the user location. So this was the before, and as the meme go, this is how it started, and this is how it's going. So let me bring up the what it looks like in live. So yes, okay, please work as demos go. If I need to refresh. Is this it? No, this is not it. Sorry, that was actually an old one that did not work for some reason. So yes, this is the live demo, and we love New Orleans apparently.
Yeah, it's a great city.
Yeah, I have not been. I guess I need to go now.
Oh yeah, I've only been once. It's a great place.
Yeah, I know everybody. Go ahead. Sorry, Andrew.
I'm just saying it's so fun to like. This is where the app starts to get fun. You drag it around and you can start to explore, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be really fun to merge our work this week. I feel like it'll start to really feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think the merge this week might be better because I know Rachel and Shane. Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of syncing, so I think we're all on the same page this week. And I guess I don't know. Should I show the code? Does it matter?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea because the merge might go smoothly, or it might be a little hairy. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Done in similar files, so we probably just have to be on the same page with it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that was a good call. It was absolutely the right decision. So yeah, here is the code. So I think one of the things that I guess is a big standout is updating the API, because that's really important, which I was personally stuck on, and I'm glad Rachel, she found a way around that. because I was stuck initially on that. That was my sticking point.
So there's a new hook, right? There's a new use state up there.
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
The recenter and set recenter. So maybe you could explain what that does.
So yes. So the recenter and set recenter, it just updates for when the user drags the map so that the pins will be able to follow along. So using state to make sure that I can't talk. Making sure that the user's information and location travels with it. So okay, go ahead. I don't know what I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what else to kind of.
The other thing that's probably interesting is in map.js. I was gonna go try to look for it, but because I did a review of this and I didn't think to look for which event you're using in the map. So are you in map.js or is that?
No, we're locations context. I can go to map.js.
Okay. So somewhere in here, I'm expecting there to be an event that you're listening for on the map. Is that right?
I believe it's the is it the handle change?
Yeah, handle change.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So which event triggers that? Maybe scroll down a little bit more.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, it looks like there's an on change directly on the.
Oh, just on change. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Line 47.
Yes. Yep.
So I think that I didn't think to say anything about that part. I might go back in and add a comment because I think that can work, but it might be noisier than you expect. Like because as you're changing, it's going to fire a bunch of on change events, like while the user's dragging the map around, and so you're going to start to stack up API calls. If you know what I mean. So unless you have some other way of debouncing that or something. So there's another event, like I don't know actually. I guess I'm assuming Google Map React will expose all the events that are available, but the one that you might want to use is on idle. So you stop dragging, and then an idle, or there's an on drag end. That's probably the more semantic one to use. So the user's dragging, and when they stop dragging, that's a good time to fire the API call. Otherwise, you run a danger of firing multiple.
Makes a lot of sense.
So I can add that to my review. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a couple other comments in there too about just some naming stuff and whatever. But
yes, always.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's cool. It's just really fun to see it kind of come to life.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, I was seeing that. Yeah, seeing it. It's yeah, it makes a lot more sense. I was struggling with it. Okay, so I guess.
Does the other team have any, or other people have any questions about it?
In the locations, I think it was in locations context. I'm not certain.
Yeah,
like
sure.
If you scroll down a bit. Yeah. This use effect on 37. I guess I'm just trying to see what that is. This is like it's like using a.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Using different coordinates to reset or do another API call on 40. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my comments was maybe we could rename those set recenter to set new center.
Okay.
And recenter to new center, or something that makes it a little more clear that it's like what it's doing. Recentering is it's kind of the right concept, but to me, I don't know, it wasn't super clear the first time I looked at it. I had to kind of explore the code to see what it was doing.
No, I think that's a good comment, and yeah, I think it makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah, I think as we go through ours, I'm gonna have some similar, I guess, desire for feedback, because I think Rachel and I had just talked a bit about how Caitlin and I set up our additional API call, and it's another use effect. So like there's gonna probably be like 3, potentially like even another use effect in location context. So like if there's a way to like, I guess, do that more elegantly, or if there's a different place we should be putting those, I think that would be helpful. Because I mean, I was just trying to get like the functionality somewhat to work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and
in
I guess.
fact, oh, well, I was going to say, in fact, you might want to share one use effect. You know, if it's like set new center or something, that could either come from dragging or it could come from the navigator, the geolocation API, right? And it could feed the same hook that would then recenter the map.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Good work.
Thank you.
I can start by talking about the AC for our stuff. You can see my Jira board ticket.
Indeed.
So for this one, it was basically just figuring out the user's location and then resetting the map so that it showed you locations actually around you and not just around New Orleans or rural Oregon. So yeah, it was basically just kind of the grab the location, get permission from the user to share their location, and then reset the map. I think one thing, this is not totally done yet. We were talking about we need to test this on a bunch of different devices like Android. And then I had some questions around like leaving the prompt to share their location active, because I think for me, I was seeing the prompt in the browser. So if we want to set that as like a local button in the app, then we would either need to do that now or have that be like moving that functionality to the button as part of this other ticket that handles the stop sharing their location, because I imagine we'd want that living in the same button.
Yeah, like a toggle or something, right?
Yeah. So yeah, still got a little work to do, but I'll let Shane share where we're at and the code.
Cool. All right, are you seeing the split screen?
Yep.
Okay,
yes.
Awesome. Let me try to, it's always a challenge to move this somewhere that it won't get in the way. Okay, cool. So similar to Devon and Rachel's work, like we essentially set up another use effect in the location's context and like added an additional like variable to state. So to start off on line 7, we're declaring this like user location and like set user location to state. I didn't give it a default variable, but we probably could make it. It ends up being an array, I believe. So like we probably could make it an array and then use like a spread operator to make sure it's not like nested or anything like that. But essentially, this gets set based on making a call to the geolocation API. And so on line, sorry, there's like the two use effects are messing me up. Okay, here we go. So from line 25 to 44 is where we essentially make that initial API call that we had like with the default kind of like URL in place. But then this if block right here is like what's been added additionally, and it's set up to like run when the page loads. So essentially like this navigator.geolocation property is something that is like available in JavaScript to reference. And so this get current position method is something that exists as a part of this like geolocation, I guess, property. And then you pass it this function get position, which takes in a position as a parameter. We have it console logging the coordinates, like the latitude and longitude of the current location. Command option check. And then we have it also set into state. I'm not sure what these issues are. I need to like look through these, I guess. It's not breaking, but it looks like something like syntax wise might not be set up correctly. So essentially what gets returned from this like get current position is like latitude and longitude. And then we're setting the user location to that array, which exists in an object called position. And I think it has like other kind of like metrics like accuracy and like altitude and things like that. But coordinates has latitude and longitude. From this, now we have latitude and longitude in state. We then set up another use effect that triggers whenever the user location gets set. So initially when you load the app, like you'll see that it's still in where it was last. Yeah, exactly. Because the user location hasn't been loaded, but once it loads, it then makes another API call to kind of like update the location, or like really to make that call to get the locations. What is shifting the map is that in map.js, so previously we had a property here on line 32 that said default center. Apparently when you use default center, it doesn't, like the map won't move automatically, but if you just pass it this center prop, if the coordinates ever update, like the map position will actually shift.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so that's what we're doing to like have the map actually shift. Because initially it was like the locations were populating like in the components of the DevTools section, but like the location was still where it was initially. So I was a bit confused, but everything was showing up still in South Carolina. So it wasn't shifting the map. And then the last thing that has been added is an additional icon. So we pass down that user location that we set up in locations context, and we check to see that it's populated. If it has, then we render an icon that is just like from that iconify library. And if not, it's null. There's also another ternary, I believe, in the nav now that also is looking for that that like user location in context, and based on whether or not it's there, it's rendering this like turn off location, turn on location. I'm imagining that like it'll be a button or like a toggle similar to what we were describing before, and we would attach some type of event here to get the I'm not sure what exact like method you guys are using in your issue to like get it to listen to, I guess, or I don't think we've hit that one yet. Like I think we're gonna put something in here to have it like listen to the device's location, and I imagine that when you hit turn off location, it would just save the last location that it had and keep it there. And if you turn it back on, then that like
that's the geolocator or the geolocation API. That's what that does.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Passing through the device location. So yeah, you can, like the toggle really would be, I don't know if there's a way to, I mean, I think the API might have a way to actually tell the device to stop sending me locations. Like that would be the cleanest way. But if the user just said turn off location and that wasn't possible, you could also just stop letting the use effect have an effect. That makes sense?
Yeah. There were some methods that were like turn on like watch location and things like that, and like stop listening. So I imagine those.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Use.
That's it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's everything that was added so far.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get complex. You know, it's like, because both those two different modes of recentering, centering the map and showing pins and stuff. So there's going to have to be a little bit of coordination to kind of get those two things working in harmony, right?
Yeah, I think like what would trump because right now it's like if you dragged it, it wouldn't change the location of the pins. But I imagine that like in the on drag or like whatever we're using to render pins, when it gets dragged, it would kind of like ignore this section and just then start populating based on the drags.
If the user takes that deliberate action, it should definitely override just the locations that are kind of flowing in, and stay centered on wherever they drag it, because that allows you to kind of explore. But then there might be a ticket for this, but we need to be able to give them a way to kind of recenter back on themselves.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's exciting too. So it looks like there's a bit more work to do to kind of make it so that the user opts into the location being shared when they load the app, right?
Yeah. And okay, yeah, I guess I do want to clarify it. So like you get a prompt whenever a website is trying to like access your location, like a browser prompt.
Mm-hmm.
Are we trying to just use that browser prompt to be the thing that like allows access to the location, or is there something in the UI that we also want to exist that's like turn your location service?
Yeah, so I can share my screen for just a second. I'll show you all again what I'm going for here. Let me make a small window so I don't overwhelm your screens. Right. Okay. Optimize for video clip. So the way I had it set up when I did it, come on. Is that there's, you come and you're able to like, kind of interact with the map, whatever. And then it's only when you hit the share location button that it actually centers, that it then centers on you. I don't have a way to turn it off, but so when you first come in, it's not centering on you or whatever. And then you hit that button and that turns on the location watching. I don't know why, I don't actually live where that is, so I'm not sure why it's showing that location, but anyway, so yeah, so the idea is the user doesn't have to share their location to use the map. But once they opt in, it'll take you to Kennedy School, which is a cool place, but it's not where I live. Anyway.
Do you know, oh, sorry, just dropped my phone. Does the browser only prompt you to like give location services like when the actual function runs that's trying to access your location services, or is it just like they know that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it's the first time you try to do that. I must have it. I must have the permissions to do that saved in my browser, because I would expect it actually to be prompting me here. But yeah, that's the first time you try to call it, it'll say, hey, this app wants to use your location. Is that okay? And you can save that or not save it, save it for a day or whatever. And then after that, you'll have access to it.
Okay, and then I'm sorry, I have like one more question, because I was like, I was trying to like look at like requesting permissions like without that browser prompt, because like the only way I know to do it right now is like I've turned it on my computer, so like every time I access this localhost site, like it will let me do it without asking me. But I was trying to find like if I wanted to have a button that like essentially was going to prompt the user to like share those permissions. It seemed like there was something in the manifest JSON, like a permissions property that I needed to add, and I couldn't really find the like official way to set it up. Like I feel like I like looked at a bunch of Stack Overflow videos or like articles, but I couldn't find like one solid way of people kind of like doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's possible to do or not. And I would expect that even if you had that permission set, it would probably prompt the user at some point, like maybe when the app first loads or something. So I think it's actually a better experience to just have it prompt when the user hits the button, like, oh, I like this app, I've explored, I want to see what's around me, and so let me mash the button, kind of indicate that I want to do that.
Okay.
Cool. Any questions about that work? Duan, did that make sense?
Yeah, it made sense. It made sense.
Okay. Cool. We'll have to figure out these use effects, because it could be also that we want to have the use effect just keep collecting, like if the user, like say the user is sharing their location and the user drags the map, we could be collecting that location in the background, but then maybe it's just, there's something that just kind of toggles which thing we're listening to set the center or something like that. And that should probably feed into some central location that, manages that has the responsibility of knowing what the map center is or something. Something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point.
No,
Like,
I understand.
how we're like passing down coordinates. There probably needs to be like one kind of like main center property that like it listens to determine where the map should be.
Yeah, I think so.
So basically just taking one use state.
Yeah, one use state to actually set the center on the map.
Okay.
But there might be multiple, like one that listens for, you know, that drag end event, one that listens for the locations coming in from the geolocation API, and they both somehow feed it into that. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, all right. See how it goes. Cool. All right, Allie, do you want to take us through our retro?
It's like
There you are. Okay, sorry.
maybe.
I lost Zoom, and then I couldn't unmute. Hold on. Okay. So I shared the link for our mural in the top of the chat. It looks like. Just a second.
Sailboat.
It's a cool sailboat.
I saw that, and then I was just like, okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yep, that's fair. Okay. Should I share my screen?
Maybe share your screen to explain what we're doing, and then
Okay.
I assume we're all going to add cards and stuff, right?
Okay. So can everybody see our sailboat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you draw that yourself, or was that clip art?
The sailboat is an icon. The rest of it,
right.
some of those are icons. Mostly it's just shapes.
Okay.
Okay, so for our sailboat retrospective, we are going to put sticky notes on our mural with things that, so for wind, we're gonna look for things that moved us forward, that made things easier. For and around the sun, we're gonna put things that made us feel good, things that worked. The anchor is gonna be things that held us back. What did we run into this week? The sprint, I guess. And then the reef is going to be what we might be facing ahead. What are we thinking our problems are gonna be? So we're gonna add our sticky notes, and then we're going to sort of group them by topic and vote on what we think is most important for our next sprint. Sound good? Sound right?
Cool.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, that's cool. In Kanban, there's not really sprints, but
Oh, right. Sorry.
but it's like it gets a little awkward to the nomenclature.
Yeah.
So it's just like between now and our next retro.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it really is, but it's technically not a sprint. But cool. All right. So how much time are we going to take to add cards?
Let's see how much time. 5-7 minutes. Sound good?
Sure,
Yeah.
that's great.
Everybody could let me know when you're done in the chat.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Cool.
I will stop sharing.
How do we add cards again?
Oh,
yeah.
There's, on the left-hand side, there's a toolbar, and there's a one that looks like it says text, but it looks like a sticky note kind of thing. If you click on that, it'll pop open a thing, and you can drag stickies onto the scene.
Oh, goodness.
did you find it, Devon?
Hold on. I pressed on the M. Go ahead. Okay.
It's this thing over here.
Okay. Let me.
And then you can just drag a sticky note over.
Why am I not seeing it? Because I clicked on the link and it says view only.
Yeah, I'm not able to sign in.
Yeah.
I'm in, but I don't have a toolbar on the left.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh. Did you all sign in with your Collab Lab logins?
I'm trying to.
Okay, hold on.
It says there's no account with that email address.
Okay, try it again.
Oh, you set it to edit. Yeah. Reload or something. Yeah.
Okay, because yeah, it says, are you a member of the collab? Okay, sign in. Okay, so.
Oh, I got it now. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, I think I fixed the permissions so that you can just add with the link. Sorry about that.
Hold
All right.
on. Yeah.
Everybody good now?
Yeah, I will be once I get my email.
So I didn't actually have to sign in.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to sign in, Devon. You should just be able to click on it now.
Oh, okay.
I just entered as a visitor and now it's able to do that.
Okay, cool.
Little pro tip is once you have a card on there, you can option drag it to create another one.
Oh, yes. Now I see the toolbar. So text. Okay, cool. Sticky note. Cool. I am in the mixed. Let's see. And help us move forward.
I'm just playing now, just putting icons on the drawing.
It is fun.
Out of curiosity, do people tend to stick with one color, or were we supposed to stick with one color of Post-it?
I don't.
I stuck with one color just so I would know which ones are mine, so I could talk about them. But
I apparently just clicked on all the yellow ones.
it's a flying boat. I'm gonna move the boat. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I had fun. My husband walked by and he was like, "What are you doing?" It isn't obvious. There you go.
Love them.
All right, so it looks like everybody's done. So I'm going to reshare my screen again. All right, so let's see. We want to just sort of group things into, Andrew, I might need your help here a little. This is the first time I really run like this.
Yeah, no problem. So what might make sense would be just to take 1 minute to have everybody read through all the cards.
Okay.
And then we could take a second to group anything that sort of is similar. And then we can do Mural has a way to do voting. So there's up on the top toolbar, Allie, you'll be able to kind of do a voting session. So maybe the first thing we do is just kind of read through the cards for a minute.
Okay, so Ray, just take a minute and read.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Does everybody feel like they've read through things?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations, people. New job.
Right.
Amazing. Yeah.
Very cool, very cool.
I'm excited.
In the middle of the madness.
All front end and React. So this is
Nice.
in line.
Nice.
All right.
That's great.
So
is it remote?
It is remote. It's a 1-year contract to start with Nike.
Nice. You got the Nike job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks, Collab Lab. Got it.
Yeah. Now we need that discount.
Not gonna lie, definitely went shopping at the employee store yesterday.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's all right. So do I want to group things?
Yeah, I saw a couple. There weren't a ton of them, but there were a few places where there were cards that were similar, right? So, like these two, all the use effects. What else?
Yeah, life was distracting.
A lot of the anchor cards seem similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe this one even goes up with that group.
What is
and that
this one supposed to say?
Which one?
This one.
So something that held us back is sometimes stuff on the AC and time allotment throughout the week. So stuff on the AC being things that weren't clear. Is that? I don't know who wrote that one, but is that what that means?
Whose is this one?
I write that? No, that was just me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes stuff on the AC or the ACs weren't clear.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just more of no, I didn't say clear. Just trying to work through the problems, I guess.
Okay.
I just initially wrote that. So no, I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't that it wasn't clear. It was just like, you're stuck. You're like, how do we do this? And then it's like Wednesday, and you're like, how do we do this? And then so no, and just time management for me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us. So yeah, that wasn't not that.
So maybe those two kind of go together around the time management stuff. Cool.
Okay. So then, oh yeah.
That's probably good, right? I don't know. Actually, maybe I don't know if maybe this one kind of goes with time management as well. Like that, like I was kind of saying that it seemed like there was a lot of activity just in the last couple of days, but the early part of the week was not as much, and I think it was just people were busy and stuff. But
because we've got 2 new jobs and Rachel's moving, so
I know.
Yeah. I'm only 2 months on, well, almost 3 in mine. So yeah, still early days.
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's see. We've got
So that little square with the dot in it at the top is, if you click that, that's the voting session. And there aren't that many different things, so maybe we just each get like 2 votes or something. But if you click that, you should get a little interface that shows you. You can set it up.
It says show results page, show votes. Like,
yeah, give me just a second.
Oh, okay, sorry, no problem.
No problem. You're good.
Yeah.
Let's see. So and then we're voting on let's see, how do I say it? What we think is
what to discuss further.
Yeah, I think it's what we want to talk about in more depth.
All right. So you should just be able to click a card to add a vote and shift click to remove.
Yep. All right.
You should be able to vote now.
Cool. Thank you. Oh, but we only have 2 votes. So we should try to make it clear which, like, you don't want to spread your votes across multiple things on this in the same theme. You just want to vote on one thing in that theme, right? So somehow we need to make it clear.
Note.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to see what other people are picking as the one that they choose. So whichever one is kind of on top, I guess. Oops.
Yeah, let me.
Oh shoot. I don't know if it's, maybe you might have to end the voting session.
Yeah, let me.
Sorry, I should have made that clear before.
Okay.
We could even, so one thing we could do is we could put like a circular one on top or something that is, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry, this is try this again. All right. Like this, like one that's like a label for the theme.
Got it.
Yeah. And then we'll just know to vote on the big round ones.
Okay, yeah. Time management. There we go. That's good. Communication.
Oh, I need that.
So those are the two. Time.
We'll add other ones.
Cool.
Okay, cool. That's probably better. Yep.
Okay, I will start a new voting session. We'll try this again. Okay, you should be good to vote.
Done. First, yes.
I'm also done.
All right, I'm done.
Visiting koala. That's 2 votes left. Oh, is there somebody that's maybe that's not a real person? Because we have five people are done with their voting. So
yeah, who's koala?
I don't know. Is there somebody lurking on the board?
Oh goodness, we've been
or maybe
hacked.
a second tab that somebody has.
There's a
open
very good chance I have it open again somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No
Okay,
problem.
well we could probably call it then.
Okay, let me. Cool. So this is what we came up with. Merging all the use effects. Seems to be our.
Yep, that and time management are our winners, right? So yeah, what is there to say about these things? Like with the use effect stuff, what do we need to do to make that less of a risk?
I think like there is an issue coming up, right? Or you guys just did the drag one. We just did the kind of like center one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are there other issues that pertain to like having to set up another API call or something like that? I think if we're like done with like that kind of functionality, we can like
Then it won't be an issue.
consolidate those calls maybe and set up some logic together. But I think if there's like additional API calls to be made, like maybe set those up and then we collaborate after that one's done as well.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying just so don't merge and then work on the issues and then work on everything and then merge?
Or no, I'm saying like the branches, if the functionality works, I'm saying like they can be merged into main, but like for the sake of getting the functionality to work, if it takes like creating another API call, even though that's not how we're going to end up doing it, maybe it might be like easier to get the functionality to work and then come back and refactor after all of the functionality is there. You know what I mean? Because if we kind of set up some type
I see.
of
Yes, I see what you're saying.
But I look at the board to like see if there are other issues coming up that require us to make additional API calls.
Yeah, there's not. The next thing that'll come up is stopping sharing and then allowing users to search for a location. But yeah, I think both of the one that's in review and the one that's in progress right now, both have, I think there's wording in those issues about like not like wanting to sort of like make sure that only one API call is happening at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think I saw in either of the PRs that we're actually sort of explicitly doing that. I think we're just kind of trusting the use effect to kind of just make the calls for us. So So if we get a mechanism in place that does that in one of the two PRs, we might be able to leverage that to make sure that, like, have that be the gating function for these two things interacting with each other too. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. But it sounds like we might need to make a new card on the board to sort of address the interaction of these two PRs. Because I think each one is going to work in isolation. We put them together and they might not. Like, you start sharing your location and then you drag the map and it might be confused about which thing to use. Might jump back and forth or something, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, it's a little unpredictable sort of how it's gonna go. So
But would we add the card after we do the merge?
yeah, we might want to see what's actually happening and then write the card. Yeah.
It seems like too, because we're about to partner switch, there's going to be one partner from each of those tickets working together. And so they could like kind of work together as part of their work this week to get things merged without conflicts. And
Good call. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. Okay, so in terms of minimizing that risk, it sounds like maybe there's going to be a need for the team to kind of get together and work that out or something. Like, once we get this stuff merged in, to sit down and sort of make a plan. Maybe. So here's one idea: is maybe this week we try to do office hours early in the week, so that, like, we get this stuff merged in, but then we sit in office hours and try to work this out a little bit, kind of in real time. Would that be helpful?
I think so.
I've got office hours this week, so that sounds good.
Okay. How much time do we need before we do office hours? I think the one PR is pretty close. The other one looks like there's still functionality to be added. So we could even do that planning, I think, even before it's fully merged, maybe. I don't know. Like, we have one of them, the first one merged. We could maybe do it.
The aim for office hours maybe on Tuesday?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Works.
Yeah.
Does 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern work for everybody?
Yep, works for me. Yeah,
Okay.
works for me.
Then we'll just plan for early or office hours Tuesday. I'll make a note, or I'll put a thing in Slack and we can invite.
Cool. All right. Nice.
I actually think that'll help us with our time management too. Early office
I was thinking that too, yeah.
Cool.
It'll kind of force us to get moving earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Is there anything else people want to say about time management? I know this week was kind of extraordinary in terms of all the things people had going on.
So one of my struggles which is kind of around time management, is I think maybe just being the West Coaster of the group. I like get off work at 5 from heavy coding brains and have to like context switch and immediately jump in. And that's been kind of like a little bit of a struggle for me to like motivate for. I like usually would want like a longer break in between, but just because of like time zones and stuff, I think that is something that I need to like, I don't know, recognize that maybe I like try and finish work at 4:30 or something so I can get like a brain
break. Yeah.
Right.
We can also, I think, sort of recognize that we're on different time zones, and so.
Yeah, no, I feel like no one's like, it's not that people aren't trying to work with that. It's just like it gets late. It's like already by the time I get off work, it's already 8 o'clock for most of y'all. So
Yeah.
Well, like half of us, because like, yeah, I mean, even still, like Allie's on the West Coast, and you know, if Andrew jumps into something, you know, he's out there too. So yeah, I think it's either way, it's bad, because the East Coast is late and you're like, oh my goodness, and then you know, West Coast, it's like, oh, I just got off from work. So yeah, it's
there's no time.
You know, middle.
There's the whole work problem, you know, just but yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe we can all motivate each other some kind of way, since we all understand. Yeah, it's tough. I think I'll be honest, I think dealing with this pandemic and all that is going on with it, it's like running in the background, foreground, like it's and
I think y'all are doing phenomenal, all things considered. So
yeah, thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, so
Well,
Yeah.
when y'all are pairing, would the East Coasters be willing to start half an hour later? 8:30 is kind of late.
I mean,
You're gonna go like an hour and a half.
I can also adjust. I think
fine.
just
I'm
for
okay
me,
with
like
that.
recognizing that that has been something, like I feel like I didn't kind of like say that out loud to myself until this week of like, oh, that is something that's hard for me. And I think just recognizing that and trying to like either wind down work with something less brain heavy or take a little break before is gonna be better.
And also too, I think understanding that I know this, it was late this week, but that we don't have to cram this, it's not it's not the SATs night before. So
Right.
yeah, we do have a bit of space. So everything doesn't have to be done in one day. And that we can be tired and just acknowledge that, especially just with all that we're doing. Like, oh, you tired? Okay. How much can we do? Can we get 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Okay, cool. Let's meet back up. So it's not as intense. I mean, trying to get stuff done, but yeah, maybe not put so much weight on ourselves because we are getting things done, so.
Shane, did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh no, I was just saying like I don't feel I always have a bit of a breather, or like after work I have a bit of time to like work out, or like don't feel pressured to like have to get on immediately. And I usually am like more of a night owl, although I am trying to like be better about getting more sleep. Like like working even starting at like 9 for me probably like fine.
Same. And like I said, I mean, I think, it's incremental. Like it doesn't have to be a whole hour session, for 3-4 days straight. I mean, I know it's a lot, but just like, async stuff works as well. If you just chime in, if you see an article or something that you think of. So it just takes that like, oh, we got to put everything on in this, when we're all sleepy or, energy after work, however. Which I think helps with time management. So.
Also, I just wanted to like quickly contribute, even though we're not talking about the jobs card, I just am really appreciative of this experience, just because a lot of the things that we've done and the tools that we've used, like I'm actively having to use now, and I've had to use in interviews. So it's been like really helpful to already have some experience in them.
Awesome. That's great. Yes.
Yeah, and I think my cumulative experience definitely Collab Lab helped in getting my job, even though it's not it's not code at all, but it's problem solving and just it deals with code, so it's like I mean it just being in that tech space, it really just worked, like all of it, because Andrew knows. I mean, I could go, but like I know Andrew definitely knows, so it all just kind of came together. So yeah, Collab Lab is definitely worth it.
Yeah, same. I like this is my second round of Collab Lab where I got a job also.
Oh, that's right. That's true. Anytime you need a job, just come back and do another
yeah.
I don't really have a job because I haven't really been looking. So.
Yeah, but I am taking part in this round because I had like talked to Andrew about like I want to move into more front end. I know like more people are coding in React. My job does Angular, like kind of talking about how I could move towards that. And he suggested doing this advanced cohort, and I'm sure it contributed to me like get exactly a front end React job. So
nice. That's great.
I think I'll have some good, happy stories about Collab Lab.
That's what I like to hear. All right, let's do some planning real quick. I know we're already kind of over time, but do want to just kind of get in the habit of watching, looking at the control chart. So again, the control chart is, it talks about our cycle time. So that's what this number is over here. So 3 days, 7 hours is our average cycle time. You kind of, that's the red line. And then this blue line is sort of the rolling average. And you can see that that's actually kind of trending down. So that's what we like to see. But I wonder how accurate that is, because what I saw this week, and maybe it is accurate. Like it was kind of like maybe Thursday, y'all put cards in progress, I think. But maybe that's when you started them, right? So maybe that is accurate.
Basically.
You have to tell me.
I know, for my team, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
For my group anyway, yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to, as soon as you're kind of like in the space of like actually looking at it, trying to understand the AC and, kind of making a plan, that's when the card should go into in progress. But it, it's pretty stable if nothing else. Like there's a little bit of variation over here. The tables one took a little bit longer. There's a couple down here that are really basically zeros, which I think that's probably going to change once those finish. Those will probably come up a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty good shape. So yeah, we'll look at it again in a couple weeks, or we could actually look at it each week if we wanted to. But so on the board, we'll just walk the board really quick. So we have this one in review, which is the dragging. I put a few comments on that, but it's really close to being merged. So I would expect, in the next like day or so or two, maybe we can have that merged in. This the user location one, there's a little bit more to do, but y'all are on it. Who are the pairs for this week?
So Shane and I talked about him continuing with the users location. I don't know. I think Devon, are you and Shane the pair this week?
I think so. Yeah, that should make sense. So,
okay,
yeah.
So I can leave Shane. I'll leave you assigned to this one, and then I guess that means Rachel and Caitlin, you would be taking on this one, right? So I can leave Rachel assigned.
Sure. Or I guess we kind of talked about like one pair working on pushing both of these across to like merge them happily. So I guess either way, but
yeah,
this one is. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. No, I think collectively, all four of us, or however, I know Rachel is busy moving. So, but yeah, I think we can all work on it. However, whatever needs to be done. So
yeah,
that's my thought process.
I think the PR here could be merged. If it was merged, we might be incurring just a little bit of tech debt in terms of, some naming and some things like that could be a little bit clearer. But it does work, and so this is probably really close to going in. So, if
I could just take that across the line, then I guess I'm like not used to like responding to like PR issues on other people's work. That's kind of why I was thinking like if Rachel's out, but I can do that if no one else is opposed to doing that.
Yeah, I think that's sort of how we agreed to work, and is that whoever's paired for that next week, like you continue with the work, and even if it wasn't necessarily stuff you worked on, the feedback shouldn't be too hard to address. I think like it's pretty simple.
Okay.
Okay, so then let's look at the backlog, see what we have come up next. So we did talk about once in office hours, we'll try to make a sort of a plan of how to reconcile those two interactions. And that's probably going to generate a new card, which one of the pairs can take on. The other thing that actually probably this one might make sense for it to be something that the team that like Shane, your group that's working on the user location stuff, it might make sense for that same team to do this, unless other people want to get the experience of working with the API. But yeah, there's this clear watch method to unregister the watching of location. So basically whatever button we set up to share the location becomes a toggle, and then that button would then call the clear watch thing to stop watching the location. This one sounds to me like it's not a ton of scope, but because it's pretty simple. The button should already be there. It's basically a matter of kind of calling that API. There might be some, and whatever the last center is that the map is set on is, that's where it'll stay. So this one probably is fairly straightforward, I'm hoping.
I think it makes sense for Shane and Devon to take that, especially because they're going to have like more work with the current ticket, and this will be like a smaller ticket, and it does seem to go hand in hand.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that as well.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in selected for development, so it'll be on the board when you all go to look for it. It's done, right? And then after that, I mean, we'll have those. What both of these epics will be done. Actually, I guess I could mark this epic as done, right? And then this epic will be done. So then we're down to the last epic, and this last epic is really more about kind of providing a better experience for the users. So the search is the major feature, I guess, and that's going to be a fun one. I think we haven't done this before. I haven't done it, but I did find one little breadcrumb for y'all. So the assumption is that we have a working map and it takes latitude and longitude. That's we already have that. So in the past, when we did this project back last May, the team really wanted to. They were like, "Oh, it'd be if we had time, we want to add a search feature because you could just you could search for Rome, Italy, and just jump there instead of having to zoom out, drag the map, all that kind of stuff. Or if you don't know exactly how to find it on a map, or whatever. So, so there's a Google Places library, which looks like it's probably a good one for using to handle the actual search.
Was this searching for places like Rome or searching for places like the Doll Museum?
Yeah, both. I mean, it should work for both. So I think you can just do this. I believe has the ability to do just a just a query, like a text string query, like anything that you would put into Google Maps. If you wanted to search for the Doll Asylum or whatever, you could do that. Or if you wanted to search for the intersection of 43rd and whatever. So I think this is probably going to be the thing that would then there's this does a lot of things that we don't need it to do, like a location bias. I think we could probably skip that. So what location bias is, if there are two places named Portland, choose the one that's closer to me, right? So I'm not interested in Portland, Maine. I'm interested in Portland, Oregon, right? But I think we can skip that for our purposes and just kind of do the simple text query. I don't know. I think I might. I don't know if I say that in here or not, but so how I think some of the difficulty of this one, the API is probably fairly straightforward. The UI is probably what's going to be more interesting. We need to put some kind of search field at the top. As you're searching, you probably want to show options that the user can click on to say, yeah, that is the thing I was thinking of. If it's you have a partial text match or something, you put doll and it says Doll Asylum, you could click on that and go straight to the Doll Asylum, which you would never want to do. So, and then if there are no results, if you put in gibberish or something, that it should just show one thing below the field that says, no results or something like that, sort of an error message. There's probably some accessibility stuff around this. If you're in the field and you're typing, when those things pop down, you should be able to tab into them and kind of select one by hitting enter and that kind of thing, right? So this one is probably fairly involved, and actually it might be a good candidate for story splitting when we get there. So, yeah, yeah, some of that stuff like that, all that extra stuff that I'm talking about, like the the autocomplete could be a separate story, right? And the autocomplete, like the accessibility concerns of the autocomplete, that might make sense to bundle together. But if it's a lot of scope, we could even split that out too. So maybe the first iteration is really just a text field. You hit enter and it kind of just goes to whatever, like the I feel lucky button on Google or something. So, oh, I do mention, yeah, that location bias thing is out of scope. We're not going to do searching by a phone number. And you could also use that library to search for places, but for now, let's just stick with the Wikipedia API as our one source of places. Like this would help us set a center, but it wouldn't return the actual place information. And we could we could change that, but it's like it's a whole set of stories probably to do that. So does that all make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. All right. We'll consider that ready, selected for development. And then let's see. Yeah, some of these other things, it's probably plenty of work for the next week. So maybe we'll just stop there in terms of planning and just, yeah, that'll be enough to get us through to the next meeting for sure. So we have 4 weeks left. We're going to add a ticket that might have a bit of scope to it to kind of reconcile those two interactions. But one thing, about the backlog is that if we didn't get to some of these, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So like all three of these things are kind of nice to have. So they would add some polish to the app, but if we don't get to them, it's not the end of the world. So I think with 4 weeks left, we're probably in pretty good shape and we could actually get through all of these potentially even in the next 4 weeks. But if we don't, I think we get through what's just on the board now, we're already going to have a pretty nicely functioning app. I don't know if the other thing that we might want to start thinking about is just paying a little bit of attention to visual polish of the app too. So, kind of making it look nicer, look more professional or something. So, but we can, maybe next week or something, we can talk about whether we want to make separate cards for that or something. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Awesome. We're over a little bit. I'll stop recording.